In 1990, they made a television miniseries called Lonesome Dove, and it's my favorite movie of any kind, all time. And I got this little shrine on my wall. It's my Lonesome Dove shrine. There's the dove that's on the front of the dry bean tavern in the movie, and there's a sign up there that says we don't rent pigs. You just have to watch the movie to find out what that has to do with anything. Come down here and there's a picture that hung on the wall of the saloon where the bartender incident was. That's Woodrow and Gus and Jake Spoon. And then here is the map of the Lonesome Dove Trail that Amy got me for my birthday and sent me, and I took the map, of course, and made a frame for it, hung it on the wall here in a prominent place. So that's a map that Amy sent me for my birthday. I got those little blocks up on top of it there to remind me that that's something Amy sent me. Amy was the fourth child in our family. I was the oldest, then Kurt, then Diane, then Amy. I was born in 1947. Amy was born in 1954, and then Clint was the last one. He was born in 1958. So I was first, Amy was fourth. There's 7 years difference between us. And our childhood is two totally different things, probably. And then because I'm a boy 7 years older than my little sister, and she is just that for a lot of years, my little sister, that little nuisance, that's my sister. In situations like that, I think it takes time and later years for you to grow as close as you do when you're closer together in age than we were. I know it's happened with she and I, and it happened with Clint and I. He was a lot younger than me too. He was just a little kid when I got married. But 7 years difference between me and Amy, and she lives a long ways from me now, too far away. I wish she didn't, but I know she's happy where she is, and I'm happy where I am, so we're neither one going to move just to get closer to one another. But she lives in Texas, I live here in Indiana. I think I mentioned to you in the last video, or the next to last video, the one that was, I think it was family number 2, where we looked at Grandpa Sam's stacked bookcase. And I mentioned that stacked bookcase belongs to Amy. I'm going to mention it at the end of this video, but I also mentioned at the same time that after I started doing these Hard Times Chronicles, Amy put together one that I could do for her so that her daughter Miranda would have a record of some things that were old and family related, so that Miranda would have the same kind of things to remember and maybe pique some interest in her and some of her children in their family. And they're all a long way from us too. So Amy blew my phone up one day, or actually Betty's phone, with this idea for this video, and she kind of had one outlined, and so I'm going to follow her little outline and make a video today that talks about some of the things that Amy wanted to talk about. The first thing that she had on that video, and if I can, I'll show you some of the pictures that she sent me on the phone. I'm pretty sure I'll get that done. She had a picture of her and her daughter Miranda, a nowadays picture where the two of them were together. They're both, you know, nice looking ladies, and they look happy together, and so it's a good picture of them. And then she had a couple other pictures, which was her at 5 years old and Miranda at 5 years old, so you'll see those pictures too. And then she continued on and along the theme of what hard times Guy is in most of the videos. She had some old things, and she had some things that she likes, and she sent a picture of the porch on the house that her and Jeff recently built. They built a log house and moved from where they were when they got married to this other place that they bought and built this log house on, and she's got what she calls her happy place on the porch. And I hope I'm not getting this all wrong, but there's a pie safe there, 10-door pie safe, and it's a neat looking old pie safe. I don't know what it has to do with things except that Amy's fond of it. And I believe the Holland Mercantile sign is hanging on that same wall. There's some kind of a little table there with something sitting on it, and something else on the wall. All these things are things that Amy enjoys, and they make her happy. She calls that her happy place on the porch. The Holland Mercantile sign was something that I made out of an old door after Amy and Jeff got married, and I met Jeff, and ended up doing that as I just made a sign that looked like an old sign but wasn't. And it was hanging over in the barn, and then one 4th of July we had a family get together like we always do. I think it was this 2017 4th of July, and Kurt and Clint and I all stood under that sign in the barn and had our picture taken to send it to Amy about our 4th of July celebration. And I didn't, when we sent her the picture, didn't mention anything about the sign. We just wanted to see how long it would take her to notice there was a sign hanging above our head that said Holland Mercantile, and at Lakey, Texas. And it took a while, but and we had a laugh about how long it did take her, but she finally noticed it, and then she commented on it, and of course then the joke was on me because I'd misspelled Lakey, and I had to go back then and fix that on the sign before her and Jeff eventually got that sign. So that's a memory about the Holland Lakey sign. Betty and I went to Texas in March of 2017. Actually, I got ahead of myself because that Holland thing was created in, or the picture was taken in July of 2017. And Betty and I had already been to Texas to visit Jeff and Amy, and that's before this house that I'm talking about was built. They had the property, and the house they'd started on the house, but it wasn't complete yet. So we saw the beginnings of it, and then this picture was later on. But on that visit, while we were there, we went around to a lot of places and antique shops and things. I might even include some of those pictures in this video of that trip that we made. But we had a great time with Amy and Jeff and going around Texas and seeing some places, and they took us to some interesting places that one of them was part of a movie set that Robert Duvall had been in, and other places where we got to see old things and things that interested me. And when we came back from that visit, I put together a little package of things to send Amy. And one of the things I sent her that she didn't mention in her outline was a 1954 Indiana license plate. And I did that because she was born in 1954. Now, she didn't mention that in her video, and I didn't see it in any of the pictures, so she may not want people to know, you know, maybe she's telling them people in Texas that she was born in 1964, I don't know. But anyway, I sent her a 1954 license plate from Indiana. She failed to mention that, but it's going to make the video anyway. Another thing I sent her was, and it's in the video, it's on the wall in her happy place, I sent her a piece of wax paper that actually was a Honeycrust bread wrapper. Now, a lot of you people are going to say, what in the heck's a Honeycrust bread wrapper, and why is it wax paper? Well, when we were children, they didn't put things in plastic bags. They wrapped them up in wax paper. And Honeycrust was a local bakery here in Bedford, Indiana, that baked bread and delivered to grocery stores. And most people in Bedford ate Honeycrust bread. And I had some Honeycrust bread wax paper wrappers, and I sent her one, and she took it and made a nice display out of it, put it in a frame with a glass cover, and it's hanging on the wall. So that was one of the things I sent her. The license plate was another thing. And I sent her an old green cabinet door. It was a short door, probably off the bottom of a dish cupboard. The kind that has a glass door on the top and one drawer or two drawers in the middle, and then has the shorter doors on the bottom. And it had some gorgeous old green paint on it, or remnants of the paint. And I sent her that door, and her and Jeff made a cabinet and put that door on it, and it sits there on her in her happy place. And they did a nice job, and it's got they did a nice job of matching the paint and creating a box to put the door on. But that's a door that I sent her in that package that we put together when they came back. I might mention to you, Amy, and hate to tell the whole world this, but you hung the door on your little cabinet upside down. So that may not matter to you, but the door's upside down. So those were the things that she put in her outline, and so I'm putting them in this video, and like I said, there's other things that I just talked about that I'm going to try to find some pictures and put them in the video too, and make the whole package attractive to everybody. But that big oak frame that you see there, and I hope you can see it, can't tell how the light is in here. I'm afraid to put a light on it because it'll just flash off that glass, but that's a collage I made in the middle 1970s, and it hung on the wall in our dining room for a long time, and then I think Betty got tired of it and it got taken down. But when I built this room up here, it got put back up again. It's a collage made of family pictures. This is something you can do with your children or grandchildren to make a project out of, and they enjoy going through old pictures and picking out ones and talking about them and putting them in something like this. I want you to notice that right in the very middle of this one that was made back in the 70s is, I want to go in there so you can see it. Those two beautiful girls right there are Amy and Diane. I don't know how old they were. Amy looks to be about 8. Diane's a little older than that. But they are right in the center of the family collage that I made back in 1975 or 6. There you go, sis. You got a Hard Times original video made on behalf of you and your family. We love you to pieces, and I hope it this makes you happy, and I hope it piques some interest in your children and grandchildren, that they want to know more about their family history, and they can appreciate the things that their mother appreciated and loved. So this is the Amy video, my sister in Lakeview, Texas. I love you.